It's 10 o'clock. What's going on? Mega thread. Oh, thanks. President Trump directed his attorney to lie to Congress about the Moscow Tower project. Trump also supported a plan to visit Russia during the presidential campaign in order to personally meet President Vladimir Putin and jumpstart the tower negotiations. Then I think that's perjury. I mean, assuming accurate reporting, the beginning and Pelosi has got Trump locked in a corner and he's bleeding support from his base. If Trump now reopens government, he visibly surrenders to Pelosi. If Trump keeps government closed, he bleeds support faster. Workers miss next paycheck, air travel delays, government services fail, and economy stalls. The GOP didn't want her as a speaker for a reason. She knows what she's doing. Interesting. No Republicans needed for impeachment. Call Speaker Pelosi. But you get Mike Pence if he's impeached. Wouldn't that be even worse? I don't think so. Don't think it could get much worse than this, except full-on authoritarian leader. I wish I knew more about what that actually meant, but this is, I mean, I think the average person can already put together the pieces and be like, President Trump has probably committed a lot of crimes against the United States. And I'm just curious how things will come out. I'm confused. What are the books that you keep seeing as recommendations which you found to be awful? Ooh, I'm curious. Girl, Wash Your Face. This is the only book I have returned and asked for my money back. So much bragging but acting like she's being self-deprecating. You pissed your pants, but not one person saw, and that's traumatic. Fuck you. It's like the worst part of Brene Brown books with none of the good stuff. Okay. Oh. I felt like I was reading a BuzzFeed article written by every girl in my hometown that thinks they're successful because they have an Instagram following. Okay. Given all the positive reviews on Amazon, Rachel Hollis Kamos is very self-absorbed and leads quite a privileged, sheltered life that is unrelatable. Granted, that's not to say one necessarily has to go through poverty or immense hardship to be a great writer, but if you have to use getting a cavity as an example of adversity, you're probably pretty damn tone deaf. She made it seem as if dropping out of school at 19 and starting a business with celebrity clientele is something that is attainable to everyone, as is marrying a wealthy higher-up at Disney. I'm also not a militant atheist who balks at Christianity, but her good Christian girl shtick got tired. Her tone was quite preachy and judgmental. Cotton candy prosperity Christians. Oh, who believes that a person's bank account is tied to their faith. I just learned about this, prosperity Christians. So I think these are Christians who follow like Joel Osteen. I find that really fascinating because I don't know if that means like, in the old school Catholic days where you can kind of pay your way to be closer to God, like financially by tithing money, and you can like hire people to do prayers for you when you were sinning. I wonder, yeah. Anyways, that's funny. Let's see if we can, people hate that book apparently. All right. Scandinavia specific, but it's a very popular book called Surrounded by Idiots, a pop psychology book about 4 personalities. Principle, I agree that it's good for people to have empathy and understand that some people work differently, but I'm just keeping it sound so silly and not scientific at all, as he keeps talking about red personalities and yellow personalities. I hate this book. It's the worst pseudo-sciencey Barnum statement bullshit. The author said, "Oh, I don't really fit any of these categories." Such a blue thing to say, yeah. Hmm. Eat, Pray, Love. I wanted to throw it out after a few chapters. There's a book out there called Drink, Play, Fuck that I think you might enjoy more. That sounds funny. Hmm. Well, I've been seeing a lot of comments about how people are so self-absorbed about books that are about themselves. And I think the whole idea of that is a little bit comical because if you're buying a book someone wrote about themselves, it will be self-absorbed. Ooh, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So this is on my reading list. Um, it's basically Buddhism for bros. Oh. This is 100% my opinion book after 25 pages. It also tried to be edgy. Worst part is I asked the book for Christmas. My wife said I wouldn't like it. Yeah. Now I have to finish or she wins. Hmm. It's labeled as a definitive self-help book, but its core message isn't helpful to a lot of people who have gone through visceral and real tragedies. The typical repeated self-help book buyer. I would agree on that. I mean, there's a lot of self-help books that are more about self-improvement. If you're kind of a moody late teens, the worst thing that's happened to you is his partner's cheating, then this book is great. Yeah, yeah. My husband just got murdered. Why isn't Eat, Pray, Love working? Eat, Pray, Love isn't actually a self-help book. I think it's actually just a book. Hunters of Reddit. What did you see out there that made you not want to go back into the woods? Interesting. When I was a kid, a poacher must have thought I was a deer or something and shot around at me. It impacted on a tree above my head. I immediately fired 3 shots as fast as I could. Not at the shooter, but in the air. And my hunting group immediately, 3 shots means help. My dad and our hunting club immediately came out to find out what the fuck was happening by honking the horns of their trucks, letting me know they were coming. I basically laid on the ground until I could tell they were near the dirt road, told them what happened, and guessed it was probably a road poacher trying to get a deer as it came from the same road. They didn't see him. It was private property, and we were always very aware of who was at what location and who was hunting where. Nobody was supposed to be in the part I was at. Scared the shit out of me. This was mid-90s. Reason why I don't like hunting on public properties because I know of that and I don't know the people out there. That's very scary. Our hunting group has the same rule. Shoot 3 times if you get lost or are in trouble. Well, I got lost, so I shot 3 times in the air and waited nothing. Did it again, 15 minutes, still nothing. Then a couple guys showed up out of nowhere and led me back to a ranger station. I'm glad they found me. That's nice. I was in the woods once in a really dense fog and had an arrow fly past my face into a tree. Nothing like near death experience to avoid the spot and idiot that shot at you. Crazy. I didn't see it, but hearing my dad say, once we were safely in the car, a wild dog was stalking us the whole time, made me a little bit more uncomfortable. Yeah, that's terrifying to go hunting and realize that other people are going hunting too and might think you're a deer. It's just idiotic. Especially if people are out there drunk or something, or when it's not very clear or it's like lots of brush. I don't know. When I went hunting with my dad one time, we saw a homeless guy carrying what looked like a torn cloth and a screwdriver on one of the trail cams. Oh, this cam was pretty deep into the woods. And it was no one we knew, so we were pretty creeped out to go back there. Yeah, it could be just a guy living in the woods. You never know. Ooh, this will be good. I spend a lot of time in the back country in wintertime. Usually it's just me and a friend. Most trails we do are popular in the summer and totally dead once it starts to snow. Winter in 2015, we've hiked, see the small backpack. Oh no, we hadn't seen any other cars, but this backpack hadn't been there long because it wasn't snow on it. About 4 miles in, I notice a large figure flailing in some trees ahead. We go quiet and can hear this man rambling while he's pacing. At this point, we're pretty freaked out and decide to turn around when we hear, "Oh, hi there." The guy starts walking towards us. And then out pops another guy with a very pricey looking video camera. It turns out this flailing guy was actually a rapper and they were filming a music video for one of his new songs out in the forest. They had parked before the trailhead, so we didn't notice the car. They ended up being super friendly and gave us a card, and we figured it was their backpack we had seen in the trail. We said our goodbyes. Yeah, that's pretty scary. Basically a Renaissance painting. What a gorgeous picture. President Trump directed his attorney to lie to Congress. Okay, let's see if there's, I'm just looking at the top couple comments. Giuliani. I've seen some of Giuliani's comments and they really aren't respectable. I wish the news would stop talking about the shutdown. Reminder, this is a cover-up of a deal Trump was negotiating not with Russian businessmen, but directly with the Kremlin, and was worth more than the last 20 years of Trump Organization building projects combined. Oh, this is the post I wanted to know. Like, this is what I want to understand. Now the two federal law enforcement officials have told BuzzFeed News that Cohen also told the special counsel that after the election, the president personally instructed him to lie by claiming that negotiations ended months before they actually did, in order to obscure Trump's involvement. This was a felony to which Michael Cohen has already pled guilty, and they aren't just taking Cohen's word for it. That Trump directed the crime. They appear to have lots of evidence. The special counsel's office learned that Trump's directed for Cohen to lie to Congress through internal company emails, text messages, and a cache of other documents. This is called suborning false statements and constitutes obstruction of justice. According to none other than current Attorney General nominee William Barr, as directly stated in his infamous memo to DOJ and Trump lawyers that likely won him the job in the first place. Thus, for example, if a president knowingly destroys or alters evidence, suborns perjury, or induces a witness to change testimony, then he, like anyone else, commits the crime of obstruction. He confirmed this is his confirmation hearing just yesterday. In your memo, blah, 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 you talked about a president persuading a person to commit perjury without perjury would be obstruction. Is that right? Yes. Convincing a witness to change it would be obstruction. Yes. Lindsey Graham. So if there was a reason for us to believe that the president tried to coach somebody not to testify or testify falsely, that could be obstruction of justice. Interesting. So looks like the president has at least committed obstruction of justice, obstruction of justice against the United States in favor of the Kremlin. This is, if anything, an impeachable offense. And I mean, we need another global protest. It's just not right. I'm glad when you're playing any sports video game from the early 2000s. It's funny. Girls don't compliment guys because they're likely to take it non-platonically. Guys take it non-platonically because it Happens so infrequently they don't know how to handle it. White painted stripes on the body protect skin from insect bites. The first time researchers have successfully shown that body painting has this effect. Among indigenous people who wear body paints, the markings thus provide a certain protection against insect-borne diseases. Interesting. Netflix loses 8% of consumers with $1 price increase. Oh, I'm curious about this. Like how they conducted a user survey. Notable information came from a survey of 1,900 adults, blah, 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 a month before Netflix announced actual increases. Okay. Um, TG said that a $3 rise cost 60%. They would quit Netflix. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if it's worth losing 8% of your base for $1 revenue wise. Because let's say like half of all like internet streamers have Netflix. Maybe it might be worth it to lose the 8% of the people to gain that $1. I don't know. Um, but I think we all know Netflix will increase their prices. I mean, if it's $10 a month for you and your whole family and everyone like five other people to watch streaming TV, um, they can increase the price because they essentially will have a monopoly on streaming television. I think it's important that, I mean, as much as I love Netflix, I think it's important that we have viable competitors so that we don't have this scenario. Cool, let's end it here.